How can we live in a world where human beings can be brutally murdered for simply trying to receive the basic human rights that this country affords everybody else?
The phrase athlete activist has been around for ages, from Muhammad Ali to Bill Russell to Colin Kaepernick to Maya Moore. Men and women who put their careers on the line for what they believe in. But we can't talk about the athlete activism without mentioning the football players at South Carolina State College who fought segregation, some having their lives taken in the process.
The biggest misfortune in my life was being a part of the Orangeburg Massacre.
The Orangeburg Massacre transpired 55 years ago on February 8, 1968. A violent night where police shot 31 black students, leaving 3 men dead.
None of this had to be. None of this had to take place.
America was on fire in 1968. The country was in the middle of a civil rights movement that saw young activists, many of them young HBCU students, leading the charge to desegregate businesses across the South. One such establishment was Orangeburg's All-Star Bowling Lanes, a popular hangout spot that refused black patrons years after the passage of the 1964 Civil Rights Act.
The owner, the proprietor, they hired Floyd, would certainly turn them away because his indication was that it's just private property and I can have access to anybody who I want to be there. And so in essence, what he was saying was, you're not welcome.
A group of students at the town's 2 HBCUs, South Carolina State College and Claflin College, led by politically active members of South Carolina State's football team, took to All-Star Bowling Lanes to protest. Those protests started on February 5th when students waged a sit-in at the bowling alley's lunch counter.
They asked to participate in the bowling experience, and he told them that they needed to go away. They came back with the only baseball player that was white on the campus, named John Blucher. John Blucher goes in, he bowls 3 frames or so. The black students came in, and Mr. Floyd told them they would have to leave out because it was for, he said then, members only. And so John indicated to him that I'm not a member. I just happen to be white, and you've allowed me to bowl.
The next day, students returned. 15 were arrested. Tensions would flare for days, culminating on the night of February 8th, when more than 100 students converged on South Carolina State campus, lighting bonfires and singing protest songs.
The students were in a face-off with law enforcement officers, local police, state police, and then eventually the National Guard. The National Guardsmen were the ones that positioned themselves very neatly on the embankment and rested their rifles as if they were at the rifle range practicing.
At some point, somebody threw a banister and hit a law enforcement officer, and they concluded that he was shot. He wasn't.
When I got to the front of where the activity was, is when the shooting started.
9 patrolmen opened fire on the students, shooting 31 of them, killing 3 men, Henry Smith and Samuel Hammond, who played football at South Carolina State, and Delano Middleton, a 17-year-old high school athlete. Most of the victims were shot in their backs and sides.
I didn't know I was hit until I got back to the infirmary. My right upper arm was bleeding, and my right hip was also bleeding. Why was there a need to fire on defenseless students? Why was deadly force used?
Only one person would face any jail time for the events that week. A black student named Cleveland Sellers, who helped organize the protest and had been shot in the back, spent 7 months in jail for not dispersing when ordered to.
The 9 police officers were tried in a federal court that they believed that their lives were in danger, and that was it. So they were exonerated.
The Orangeburg Massacre has been overlooked as a pivotal moment in the civil rights movement, a historic American tragedy and a reminder of the links taken by athlete activists in this country to change it.
that we look back and we see in African American schools, HBCUs, there's a rich history of athletes being engaged and involved. That's a tradition that's been in place and is still in place.
South Carolina State University has done its part to never let us forget what happened on their campus, honoring the event by naming its basketball arena the Smith Hammond Middleton Memorial Center, and hosting memorials and events to commemorate the bravery and remind us of the brutality of that night.
Until the Orangeburg Massacre the truth has been told and found, they will never be able to say that race relations in South Carolina is, in fact, near perfect.
We remember, we honor, respect, live for them, and make sure by any means necessary we continue to shine the light on Smith, Hammond, Middleton, and any other beautiful Black spirits.